very good evening and welcome. You're watching the Friday edition of Breaking Views with me, Rishika Barua. Hearing a petition challenging the filming of Varanasi's Gyanvapi Mosque, the Supreme Court today ordered that the Gyanvapi Mosque case will now be heard by a more experienced judge in Uttar Pradesh, but the survey will continue. Reiterating the interim order of the Supreme Court, essentially, the court today has said that the Gyanvapi Mosque case is sensitive, it is complex, and therefore the Supreme Court is transferring the Gyanvapi case from the civil judge to the district judge in Varanasi. The Supreme Court has said that this is a case that should be heard by a senior and experienced judge. And while the court has maintained that this purported shivling that has been found according to the leaked survey reports, this shivling structure should be protected, the court reiterated that it should not impede on any religious observances of the Muslims that are taking place inside the mosque, which means namaz should not be disturbed. And the court today even asked the Varanasi district magistrate to make arrangements in the mosque for the practice of wuzu to continue, which is essentially the wuzu water ritual to continue. This was something that was actually being disturbed because of this entire pond area being cordoned off. Now, interestingly, the Supreme Court today, while listening to these passionate arguments from both sides, stressed on the need for fraternity between communities, need for peace being the top priority. The Supreme Court has said that there is indeed at this moment a need for balance and calm on the ground. At ground zero in Varanasi today, Friday prayers continued and they were peaceful. The Supreme Court also said that we need a degree of healing touch. We are on a joint mission for preserving a sense of balance in the country. The question that we're asking on Breaking Views tonight is that by essentially reiterating its interim order and allowing now for a more senior and experienced judge to continue hearing the survey case, has the Supreme Court given a healing touch? Joining us tonight, Tanveer Ahmed Mir, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Varun Singh, also an advocate of the Supreme Court, and Vishnu Shankar Jain, lawyer of the Supreme Court and petitioner from the Hindu side. I want to first go across to you, Tanveer Ahmed Mir. The question that I'm asking is, has the Supreme Court given the healing touch that is so essential, something that the court has reiterated time and time again? Has the court in fact delivered it by allowing for this survey to continue, but this time, in the district court?
Well, I think, the way the Honorable Supreme Court judges have reacted, they are also very well cognizant of the fact that this whole issue is raising a lot of emotive responses all over the place. So it's very good on part of the top court to send a clear message across that everything should be done in a proper manner. And you have to realize that at the end of the day, there are human beings on both sides. You can have contentions and cross contentions. The human touch is always welcome when it comes from legal fraternity, honorable judges. I wish that the human touch aspect of the matter would come from the political class also, which it unfortunately does not. Because at the end of the day, these are very issues which are viciously seen as something that, decide electoral benefits. So that part we will have to take care with us, and we have to take it in our stride. Importantly, the Supreme Court has also said that, look here, whether this suit is maintainable or not will be now heard by a senior judge. So he can decide this issue first. And then, whatever way the learned district judge comes to a conclusion that whether the suit is maintainable in terms of the covenants of 1991 or Act or not, and then the matter can get escalated back to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Vishnu Shankar, I want to come to you. You are a petitioner from the Hindu side in this case as well. And I want to ask you, there has been a very stern view of the leaked reports that the Supreme Court has taken today. Justice Chandrachud said that these leaked report business really needs to stop. Because essentially, don't you think that all of the information that is available in the public domain whether it is of a purported shivling or a kalash or whatever information is available in the public domain, is all courtesy leaked reports. Nobody can independently verify the veracity of any of these facts that are essentially building a very strong narrative.
Absolutely right. See, first of all, I want to clarify that I am not the petitioner. I am the lawyer for the petitioner. Second of all, I want to just say that whatever Supreme Court has commented upon the leaked reports, we also believe in it, because there is no leaked report from our side. We have applied for the certified copy of the survey report. We have not yet received the copy of the survey report or the photographs or the CD. So nothing has been leaked from our side. There was one Mr. R.P. Singh who had leaked certain informations of whatever happened in the survey in the public domain, and he has been removed. Because of him, Mr. Ajay Kumar Mishra has been removed by the trial court. So there is nothing on the part of the petitioners, on the part of the 5 women plaintiffs, because of which any leakage has happened. Because
no,
of which
we're not attributing it to anybody. I mean, the survey commissioner was sacked
Definitely.
because allegedly.
No, I am also.
Because allegedly the camera person that he hired to conduct this survey was speaking freely to the media and sharing all the information, including pictures, etc. Now these two reports, by the way, Vishal Singh and Ajay Kumar Mishra sealed reports being submitted in the court, all of that information is in the public domain. I mean, is there no sanctity of a report being submitted in a sealed envelope? That's the question.
See, I also completely agree with you that no, all these reports should not be leaked in the media. And whoever has spoken in the media strict action must be taken against them. And if you will see my 3 days of briefing the media, not a single word me or my legal team or any of the plaintiffs have uttered before the media. When the report has come in the public domain, we are talking about it, and till yet also we have not received the report filed by the Advocate Commissioner. Point number 2, the Supreme Court, I just want to narrate here that you also speak about what Supreme Court has said about the applicability of the cases of fact. Because if observations of the Supreme Court are taken, this observation must also be taken that the religious character of the property in question have also to be determined.
No, but
this observation of the Supreme Court.
Varun Singh, currently the religious character of the property, at least for the public, is being determined on the basis of these leaked reports, which are talking about the fact that a shivling has been found. Something that the petitioners are now saying that, okay, this is a shivling. Even the Supreme Court is saying that, okay, if a structure like a shivling has been found, let us protect it. The Muslim side is saying that this is a fountain.
Right. In fact, I think the larger question, which I would have wanted the Supreme Court to kind of maybe develop upon, which was purely a question of law, that if there is a mosque which is there from beforehand, and if there is a section specifically providing that the no suits may lie pertaining to any cases after 1947 by virtue of this act from 1991 onwards, whether on the basis of that very provision, whether any suit can lie or not, because that question is now being left to be answered by the new trial court, which will hear the matter. And by settling that issue right now would have actually led to, closure or opening up of all the other cases which are now, cropping up. So that question could have ideally been answered as well here, and that would have settled the issue.
Vishnu Shankar Jain, isn't that the moot point? By allowing for this survey to continue in a higher court, the district court, by a more experienced learned judge, the Supreme Court has still allowed for this to continue despite the fact that there is a Places of Worship Act which is in place.
Yes.
This is going to open a can of worms. We're already seeing what is happening in the Krishna Janmabhoomi case.
See, the problem is that whatever observations of the Supreme Court have happened today, it is just discussed selectively by the media. You must also discuss that the Supreme Court Honorable Mr. Justice Chandrachud, if you are discussing the observations, you must also discuss that Honorable Mr. Justice Chandrachud had given example of an agyari and a cross, and he said that if one person is saying it's a agyari and the other person is saying it's a cross, it has to be determined by way of an evidence. The religious character has to be determined.
Exactly.
But that also should come in evidence.
No,
we are not saying that whatever we are saying is correct, and that's why we are before the court. We believe it's a shivling. They say it's a fountain. But the problem is this, that when we want to ascertain the facts, when we want to lead evidence, they say no, you cannot lead it. it is barred by the Places of Worship Act, it is the basic structure of the constitution, then, well, I must ask
Tanveer
them.
Tanveer Ahmed Need, Vishnu Shankar Jain says, what is wrong in allowing for the survey to happen? But the question that many are asking is, doesn't this open up a can of worms? I mean, aren't we already seeing the ripple effect of this when it comes to, say, what is now happening in Mathura? A petition that was not allowed to be entertained because of the Places of Worship Act is now being entertained in the Krishna Janmabhoomi case.
By holding that Places of Worship Act is not applicable.
Tanveer Ahmed.
See, let me tell you that to the best of my understanding, all these claims and suits, are coming up, after a particular period of time. Like the Krishna Janmabhoomi dispute was nowhere to be seen in 60s, 70s, 80s. Why is it coming now? Why wasn't any suit filed at that point of time? See, the purpose of what we understand as a lawyers and commoners is when the parliament enacts a piece of legislation, it is done with a particular objective. 1991 Act, whether a particular dispensation boycotted or did not boycott, did support or not, fact of the matter is Parliament passed a law.
Yes.
That law says the only exception for all religious structures is the Ayodhya. Now, as what stands in 1947 is something which is a ballpark. So therefore, at some point of time, whether you want to relegate this issue today to the Honorable District Judge at Varanasi or to some other court, this is going to come back rebounding to the Supreme Court judges. That's what I can clearly foresee, because a determinative finding on this is very essential. That is there a door closed, or otherwise what will happen in our society is that the politicians
But don't you think that the floodgates
amok.
for so many such claims and counterclaims have now been opened?
And the unfortunate part of it is that this is amenable to political harvestation.
Absolutely.
And that's the ugly
Vishnu
part
Shankar
of it.
Jain, wouldn't you agree?
If these disputes were
Wouldn't
not
you
allowed
agree?
to
I don't
be
agree.
gained.
I don't agree. And if you will allow me, I'll put forward my point. See, the point is that in para 116 and 117 of the Ram Janmabhoomi judgment, everything is quoted selectively. So let me bring the other perception. In para 116 and 117 of the Ram Janmabhoomi judgment, what the Supreme Court said, that the promise, that the vow to create a temple is sacrosanct and it will remain till the end of the time. If they have a concept that once it is a mosque, it will always remain a mosque. Hindu law also says that once is a temple, it will always remain a temple's property and deity's property. My deity is existing there and you are doing wazu there. Today, what Mr. Huzaifa Mehndi argued before the Supreme Court.
But that's the first question that I asked you. Today you are saying my deity exists. There's something which is based on a leaked report. You yourself are saying you haven't seen the report. Neither have you seen this evidence. On what basis? On what basis are we having? On what basis is this narrative being built?
There is no narrative.
Varun Singh, come in here. I have 10 seconds left. Do you think a narrative has been built? Forget the healing touch. The narrative has been built.
No, so that's the thing. By virtue of filings, allowing people to file suits, you're opening up this box for people to testify. Now, religious character, from whatever I understand, for whichever place has been established by by a long tenure of time where somebody is doing some kind of religious practice. Now, all of a sudden, if somebody else wants to file a claim, whether that issue needs to be judged by virtue of a trial, or does this Places of Worship Act specifically bars that? That is the question I would have ideally wanted it to be answered, because that would have saved a lot of disputes elsewhere.
Vishnu Shankar Jain, I will literally give you 10 seconds. I absolutely have to wrap up. I have another guest.
I think I cannot formulate in 10 seconds, but I just want to say that in a healthy democracy, everyone has a right to go to a judicial forum. And you cannot take away that right.
Absolutely. And as long as the letter and spirit of the law is followed, and like the Supreme Court said, the healing touch that is needed is in fact given in this case, I think everybody should hopefully be happy with whatever the outcome is, as long as peace and tranquility is not disturbed. And that is something that the Supreme Court has reiterated in the interim order and once again today. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this discussion. We have a very special guest who is joining us, Kiccha Sudeep. He needs no introduction. He is a superstar in the South. Kiccha, thanks very much for being with us on NDTV. I have to begin by asking you, you've sparked this huge language row in the country. I have to give you credit for that. And today the Prime Minister has, talked about how all languages in India are equal. Every language is essentially a national pride. How do you react to this?
It's an honor being on board. First of all, thank you for having me over. And ma'am, actually, whatever I responded to the tweet, I didn't mean to start any riot or start any kind of a debate. It just so happened without an agenda. And yes, it was something that I just kind of voiced out an opinion. And today, it was an honor and a privilege and a great feeling to see the certain lines come out from the Prime Minister's mouth. And when he himself makes a statement, and it is not just us, ma'am, I think it's everybody who looks upon their language with regards and respect. It's just definitely a very overwhelming emotion to see him speak this way, and it's a warm welcome.
Okay. You resisted this Hindi imposition bid as it's being seen. Ajay Devgn tweeted about how, Hindi is our national language, and he said that if Hindi is not our national language, then why do you dub your films in Hindi? And you sort of took him on after that, and this huge controversy was created. What do you make of this bid to impose Hindi as the national language, or this perception that Hindi is the national language?
Ma'am, to call him is a perception, ma'am. It was not taking on him. I wasn't taking on him. See, I know him, and I wasn't taking him on. So it was just a thought. So there's a difference, taking him on and taking the thought.
Okay.
See, it was not even my whole line when I spoke about certain lines on a certain stage, as it is never meant to him personal or anybody. See, what happens when, and I was not even trying to hint at any kind of a language imposing. See, I come from a film fraternity which deals with entertainment, and we don't feel nice only when South films are called as pan-India. See, it has got nothing to do with Hindi per se. All right. So it's a pan-India. Pan-India it's our country. We are trying to reach out today. Cinema is open to all languages, and everybody, every viewer, every state wants to see, as long as the film is good and worth a view. Everybody wants to see, and only certain segment being called as pan-India wasn't going well with me, and it was nothing to do with the ego or any kind of emotion. It's the fact. The fact is that it's a pan-India. So whether it is coming from South or whether it's coming from Hindi, as long as you're dubbing your films in other languages, it should be called pan-India, and it shouldn't be termed only to a certain stage as well. So this was my whole thing, and when Ajay sir tweeted, and he, I think there's always the in-between lines that is read or the context is not understood. So I guess, and I was trying to tell him that, and I welcome everything as long as our language is also, every language is respected. That's about it, and that was not trying to take on anyone. So I think I have the right to say what I personally, my opinions are when it comes to certain topics. At least when I know I can talk about a certain topic, it is not just because I have a voice that I can just voice it out. I had an opinion here, and that's what I wanted to tell.
All right. Do you think that South films breaking box office records has in a certain sense triggered this as well?
No, I don't think so. I don't think actors are that insecure. See, they are all there because of certain achievements, ma'am. I think all those big heroes, all the so-called names who have been there for decades are there because of a purpose. All right. They have achieved and they have delivered, and that's the only reason they have survived so long. Just because of one or two films, whether it's coming from South or whether Hindi films coming here and making it big, we trying to compare it with the other rest of the people and saying this is making them shake I don't think I'll agree with that, because I'm an actor myself. I think we are here because of what we are.
At the very outset of this conversation, I asked you about what the Prime Minister said, and you welcomed what the Prime Minister has said today in terms of all languages being respected and all languages being equal. Do you, however, feel that on the ground there is still a discrepancy in the way languages are treated in our country?
See, I guess I just know how people are treated. That's where I come from. But, this discrimination of languages, I don't see it happening directly from those big heads or the big thinkers. I guess this is all a third party one. And these discriminations, I think it's just the way we perceive it. Because I see, whenever we have done something, I think, like, for example, if certain South films are doing well today in up north and everywhere, it's just not Mumbai. Everywhere, I mean, talking up north also, if films are doing well, I think they have respected and welcomed, and I don't see any discriminations here at all. I think probably it was just a matter of time that, people were welcoming the other languages.
Speaking of sort of the politics of this entire language row, it was very interesting because when Ajay Devgn and you had that little exchange on Twitter and you responded to him, there was an entire political machinery in Karnataka that was actually throwing its weight behind you, with the opposition parties attacking the BJP, saying that, this is a seed of divisive politics that has been sown and that is what is happening, and how all of this is a threat to India's unity. How did you feel about that?
I guess, the way I look at it from my angle, I said what I want to, and Ajay sir said what he wanted to. And the rest of them, it's like selective hearing and selective picking. So I guess, it was just taken. And I saw some of the people also retweeted it, but taking it to what suits them, because none of them tagged us. None of them took it from our line. Yes, the so-called blah, blah, blah. So it's a clear-cut diversion into the requirement. And see, I think Ajay sir or me, when we were speaking, we were only speaking about industry per se. And, and we are speaking about, definitely language was involved here, but it was not to the extent of so intense that, we had to get into a riot. It ended between simple few words, and especially when Twitter also doesn't provide us enough space to say everything what we want. So we have to dilute it and, we have to program it into such a small one, and I have to say, and yeah, he tweeted in Hindi. I understand Hindi, I read Hindi. So I could understand it, and that is where one fun came as in, like, oh, sir, what would have happened if I had tweeted in Kannada now? It was something that came through my thought, and yeah, what would have happened? So I guess that was where it came from. And
you took your time, to speak to us about this entire language row at the time when this exchange happened, and it sort of snowballed into this huge language row between two stars, and we were all covering it in those. This was a few weeks ago. You chose to remain silent at that time. What's made you speak out today?
I wasn't choosing to be silent. I voiced out. That's why you people were speaking. Come on. I was not silent. See, there was nothing. See, always there is a topic and there's an extension topic. I was not a part of that extension. Just let hear me out. I was speaking to the topic, and when the extension had nothing to do with me. Me speaking just because I have a voice is not something a probable person like me would do. It has got nothing to do with me. The way it was going on, I was watching it, and I had nothing to do with it. And especially, I'll tell you, when the fire is hot.
How did you feel when this entire thing snowballed into such a big controversy?
I felt wow. I mean, because, I thought that was more creative than all of us. So what we were speaking and where it was heading, and it just headed to all the political thing. I don't think that is what we intended to. And when it
okay, so you didn't expect that it would snowball into such a big controversy, but like I said, you've chosen to break your silence on a day when the Prime Minister's talked about this entire language issue, and how he's talked about the fact that there's pride in every language. So why essentially did you choose to break your silence today? I'm not going to let you.
I'm coming there. See, I said you said and made a line that I didn't expect that. So I just want you to know. See, these are all the things that we should expect, that when you say something, it will be just heading into a direction when, see what suits the others most. So I guess these are things like what we are constructed upon today. We know that, we say something and suddenly it comes out somewhere else, and then we're like, okay, my vocabulary was right, my diction was right, my choice of words were right. Where is it heading? Now, this is what it means, that, it just can have many angles. And when you know that you don't fit into that particular angle, I guess the best thing you can do is remain silent, and not that me being silent is my defense towards what was happening. I was not fitting in there. I was not a part of that. And you cannot make me a part of a story which was not created by me. All right. Now, when you say
chosen
today,
to be a part of the story today.
Yes, because it is coming from the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And it is a warm welcome towards all languages, man. I'm not representing only Kannada. I'm talking about everybody's mother tongue is being respected today with that few statements from the Prime Minister's mouth.
Sure.
And that is where I was coming from that day.
Okay.
That has got nothing to do just because we don't look at Mr. Narendra Modi as just a politician. We look at him as a leader as well.
Yes.
We are connected. We may not be connected to the parties, but we are connected to the leader who's looking upon our country. Right?
Okay. Well,
So when
Kiccha
it is coming
Sudeep,
from,
thank you so much for joining us on NDTV. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. And der aaye, durust aaye, but you have made your point today. So thank you very much.
thank you so much. It was an honor.